Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 27th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 56 in the house, and we're already past the time where the finale usually is. I mean, Taylor won on what, the 25th or something? This is we're barely halfway through the season. It's very weird, but we are here to talk about the day on the feeds, and there actually was a lot going on here today as things continue to move and shift and develop. So we will talk about all of it, and with me to talk about all of it is Maggie. How you doing, Maggie?
Hi, Taran. Hi, everybody. I'm all right. This week has been so lame. And, I really was thinking about it. And I was like, what really stinks about it is that, the thing is, if the season was going the way that it was meant to, like if had gotten evicted when he was meant to, if both Cameron and Jared had gotten evicted when they were meant to, like as a core whore, I would be okay with his placement. Like things are going bad, right? And we're thinking it might be the end. And I would be like, this is a fair placement for the game that he played. But for him to be in like 10th place because of all of these, I'm like, no, at least give him 7th. I don't know. I'm sure that it's not that big of a difference. But to me, I'm like, what stinks about all of the twists and the people not actually getting evicted who were meant to get evicted is that, like, these people should have left because like most of them, it wasn't like some crazy random thing that happened and got them evicted. Most of them, it was like their own very poor gameplay that got them evicted, and we're seeing them be able to continue on in the game, and it's like, I don't know. I just think in terms of like justice, as somebody who watches the feeds and is like wanting good gameplay, I'm like, why is Jag in the best position in the house? Why does that
Well,
get to happen?
to be fair, it's more Matt than Jag, but
For
uh,
sure. But why is it Matt and Jag? You know?
well, let's talk about some of that because there's plenty of stuff to get to here today. Um, just to quickly catch you up, there's no major events other than the fact that Cam has formed a fugitives alliance with Matt and Jag. Blue has successfully flipped Matt and Jag against Corey and America for playing all sides and plenty of other stuff that we've been talking about throughout the week. And Cirie is back in many people's good graces, though not really included in any alliances at this time. And there's been escalating tension between Corey and Cameron and the whole America situation, which Corey is going to talk to Cameron about today. Basically, throughout the day, Cameron is going to continue to pitch what he's been pitching, which is that Felicia needs to go before the jury because whoever takes Felicia out will not get her vote. He does not want a bitter vote on the jury, so he's going to be continuing to pitch that throughout the day. And his target after that is Corey. Corey is worried that that might be the case and has a conversation with Cameron about how they should work together, and that they could maybe even work with Matt and Jag, and they should maybe pitch something along those lines. And how Corey has no intention of going along with the idea in the house of maybe just going right back after the person that comes back into the game. And they even talk a little bit about the America stuff, and Corey says, "I listen, like I don't care what you guys do, like that's up to you." And Corey feels very good about this conversation afterwards. He says he tells America he thinks it went well, and that maybe he doesn't need to target Cam.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so uncomfy. It's like the watching the three of them interact, like America, Corey, and Cameron, is really it's so awkward. Because Cameron is doing his thing, he's doing the thing that we've talked about, us two actually, like several times this season. And he is feeling some type of ownership over America, and it's very, very uncomfortable to watch.
Yep. But, don't worry, it's gonna be a topic throughout the day.
Ugh.
So, so that's a big portion of the early part of the day that Cam and Corey have had this talk, and it's really starting to shift how they are moving in that direction. Um, Now, another thing that's been happening is that Felicia's been trying to pitch a Final Four deal with herself, Mimi, Corey, and America. Corey has told this to Matt and Jag, you know, because they're under the assumption that they're in a Final Four alliance with Matt and Jag, him and America. America, though, today is going to tell Blue about it, how Felicia and Mimi want a Final Four with her and Corey. Blue then tells Jared about it. She says she's not sure if she wants to tell Matt and Jag yet. They already know, of course. He says if you tell anybody, it should be Matt. And she explains about how they had a conversation last night and how they're all targeting Corey now. And they're both Blue and Jared excited about the prospect of Corey not making jury with America. How sweet would that be? Um, Corey tells America, well, hopefully Matt and Jag don't tell Blue about our deal with Felicia and Mimi, because if Blue knew, that would be pretty bad. And America's like, yeah, hopefully they don't do that. And doesn't say that she said anything.
Oh my gosh. It's like America's blind spot for a long time in the game. Well, look, I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending America. She's been a terrible ally to Corey this whole time. She cannot keep her mouth shut. Corey tells her one thing and she will tell whoever will listen. But for a long time, her blind spot was Jag, and now her blind spot is Blue. And like, I think America really feels like Blue is her friend. And then Blue, like, really, like, is like, not a girl's girl, which we can't even get into that. But like, it really is so frustrating to watch. Everything is so frustrating to watch. Oh, everything about Corey's deterioration has been frustrating. He is very much to blame. America is also to blame. Like, this twist is to blame. There's a lot of factors at play here, but it's a tough sitch.
Yeah, it's not great for them. They should probably stop what they're doing. Um, Matt is gonna tell Jag that you know, after their talk, he's feeling like if he wins, he's just gonna go ahead and just put America and Corey on the block.
Mhm.
He thinks that makes the most sense. Jag agrees that's kind of what makes the most sense. Jag not necessarily feeling quite the same way at this time, but Matt has gotten to this point, and Bowie ends up joining them, and they both start going in on Bowie about Corey and America. Jag quickly leaves, but Matt continues to tell Bowie about how Corey is trying to be good on all sides. And Bowie is just doing her Bowie thing for a while.
Mhm.
And when I tweeted this out, people were like, "Ah, yeah, well, Bowie's just going to agree," and that's what she was doing for a while. But the reason I tweeted it out is that eventually Matt got around to telling Bowie something that, again, Blue just kind of makes stuff up sometimes. He said that Corey, America, and Blue had a final three that America blew up. And it wasn't a final three; it was a final two between America and Blue. But the idea of Corey, America, and Blue being in a final three sets Bowie off. And she goes,
Mhm.
wait a minute, hold on. I've just been saying whatever to this, but if this is true, oh my God, wait a minute. That's what they've been doing with me. They've been
Mhm.
trying to make a final three with me. And she tells this to Matt. And you can always tell when information is landing when A, they have an emotional reaction, which she did, and B, they start spilling actual information that gives them no benefit to spill. Um, and so she says, "Oh, I've been careful about what I've been saying to them, but yeah, they've been trying to make a final three deal with me. Wow, they're sketchy, huh?" And just like that, Bowie has been converted to the anti Corey and America train, and they start talking about how they should be targeted soon.
It's a big loss. it's a big loss for Corey in America. And I know you're like, how is FBJ a big loss? But it is because
Well, Corey
they've
continues to
gone.
talk very confidently about how he has Bowie.
Yes, and
Um,
they've gone from being in one of the best positions in the house to now the entire house's target. Like, almost the entire house. Like, that's the thing, and that's why when Matt's like, "I'm just gonna put up Corey in America," like, he feels okay to do that because they've become the consensus target, you know? Like, it wouldn't be a risky thing for Matt to do. Actually, it would be more risky for him to try to play around to preserve his relationship with them at this point. You know what I mean? So when you said it earlier in the podcast, like Matt's like, I'm just going to do this. Like, yeah, of course he is. That's the right play. Matt is playing circles around Corey right now. And it's, it's a sad story.
Yep, and right after this conversation, Bowie goes up to Corey, says, "I just had a good conversation with Matt and Jag, and I haven't heard your name at all, Corey."
Mm.
Then goes back to Matt and says, "I just talked to Corey, and I told him that I hadn't heard his name at all." And Matt's like, "Oh, good, good, good." Yes, very much the case that as of right now, this is where Bowie stands. Even Bowie has been flipped against Corey in America. Um, Matt is going to talk to Cam some more as well. The idea is that him and Jag have been talking about when should we approach Cam about the Corey stuff, because Cam wants Felicia first, and they've been going back and forth. Maybe we should wait until the HOH competition. Maybe we should do it now. Basically, what they want to do is tell Cam Corey wants to target you because that's what Corey has been wanting to do. However, Corey is starting to change that opinion. And so that information again is starting to get a little stale. People
Mhm.
often wait too long on some of this stuff, or they just spill everything way too fast. Matt talks to Cam to kind of feel this out, and he starts spilling a little bit of the anti-Corey stuff. He's trying to be good with everyone, trying to manipulate people, and Cam agrees with all the points. He's like, "Yes, I agree. That's why I think he needs to go after Felicia because
Mm.
Felicia needs to go first because Felicia can't be on the jury." And Matt's like, "Yes, yes, I agree. I agree with you."
Yeah, Felicia, who's definitely going to hold a bigger grudge against Cam than like Cirie, who got Izzy and by extension Jared evicted for sure. She's
I
going to
think,
be too
I
bitter.
mean, I think Cerie's the person that's like Russell Hantz. He should have won. You know what I
Stop.
mean?
Stop.
um, so Jared talks to Cirie. Cirie talks about who she should target if she wins. She's not really sure at the moment. Jared thinks it should be one of Matt, Jag, or Corey. And Cirie says that could make some sense, but she really just has to feel it out. Cirie says people are underestimating me because they look at me as somebody that's not gonna win a competition. They don't know how I can talk.
Mom always said, if you can't beat it with these, you can beat it with these. And I think that, I mean, if anything, this week has shown us that like Cirie, some people can't handle power. You know, like that is very clear that Corey has been very much struggling holding the keys, like you were talking about on the roundtable last night. Suri is somebody who is much more comfortable holding the keys, sitting in the driver's seat, and pushing down the gas pedal. And I think that this, like, we were saying last week, you know, when she was in this bad position because Jared was totally screwing up and leaking every single thing that she was saying, that like once Jared is a non-factor in the game, she'll be able to get back into the house. And I mean, this is what we've watched. There's been no HOH, no one going home. And Cirie, although she's not in any named alliances or like solidified alliances with anyone, she doesn't have to be because she just dug herself out of a really, really bad hole. And I actually think that if she was getting put into named alliances, that would be worse for her game. I think right now, because the house is so in flux and things are moving so quickly, the best thing that she can do is be open Cirie. Oh, I just feel really good about Cirie. I'm feeling so good about her. And then that's where we move as we move forward into these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm annoyed that Cirie's like big comeback week is taking place during like the most boring and like annoying week to watch because of how just like backwards it feels. Because she's putting in some excellent work, and
Mhm.
justifiably nobody's really paying attention because the week is so annoying.
Mhm.
But yes, very much so. She is doing some very good work, and not a soul is even thinking about putting her on the block, let alone targeting
Mhm.
her at this time. Still a long way to go, obviously, but a
But
huge turnaround from just
still
last
a long way to go, but we're at essentially final 11. So, like, yeah, there's a long way to go in the season. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be okay.
Yes. Cirie talks to Blue and Matt, and she brings up her conversation with America from the other day that we had talked about, that had actually turned America to a Cirie fan. And Blue actually lets her know, yeah, America talked to me after that conversation and said that she loved the conversation. She's not targeting you. And she was like, oh, that's nice. I don't know why Blue would tell Cirie this, especially since she's so anti-America, but she does. She then tries to get Cirie to be anti-America by telling Cirie about how Felicia is proposing a Final Four with Corey and America, but she thinks that America is still targeting Felicia. So that like Felicia is trying to propose this, but America is so sketchy that she's still even just flat out targeting Felicia. Um, so that's what Blue is telling Cirie, and Cirie is just kind of collecting all this information for now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the place that she wants to be because Cirie knows how to use information when the time is right. And
Mhm.
I can't wait to watch we talked about a post Riley world. I cannot wait to watch Cirie in a post Jared world.
I don't count your chickens before they hatch.
No,
There's
and
still a comp.
I was going to say that, actually. I was gonna bring it up later, but, like, everybody is like, "Jared is out of here." Like, they're talking about him like he's a non-factor. Jared basically is like, "I'm a non-factor," but we're just assuming it's gonna be like Caitlin's puzzle that we all clowned on Caitlin for not being able to win. Like, we don't know what it's gonna be or how hard or difficult it's gonna be, and I expect the unexpected in Big Brother. You never
Yeah.
know.
Well, Blue has a conversation with Matt. She talks about loving the talk they had the night before, being so anti-Corey in America. Um, Matt, Matt has some conversations with America and Corey throughout the day as well. And he's starting to feel like he has a conversation with America where they talk about Felicia seeming nervous, and America talks about how she really wants to lock in with their four. She really does trust them. She wants to work with them. And so it's, I think, softening Matt a little bit toward the two of them.
Mhm.
Maybe coming off of the I will just straight up put them on the block a little bit, because he's starting to get more and more nervous about Felicia and Mimi and how they're actually coming for him versus America and Corey. He brings this up to Blue. He says, I mean, I hope Corey and America are more with us than with Felicia and Mimi. Blue says, well, I think so. And I mean, I think the two of them will throw HOH because they feel they're good with everyone. Um, this is again where I like what Blue is doing. I like the idea that Blue has, but her execution is usually what's lacking, and this is part of that. It doesn't benefit her to tell people that she thinks Corey and America are going to throw the HOH.
Mhm.
It just makes them seem less threatening,
Yep.
and I think that she's starting to lose some of the fervor that Matt and Jag had for the two of them. But she's doing other things right in that she is still trying to bring up any little piece of information she can to add fuel to that fire that is starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, just everything that you said. I'll talk about later what I was gonna say about the Felicia and Mimi and Corey in America 4. We'll bring that up
Okay.
later. Mhm.
Well, Corey, Jag, America, and Bowie are in the bathroom. They start talking about Felicia and who she would target. And this is basically what got them in this mess, is that America told Blue, still have no idea why she did this. America told Blue
Mhm.
that Corey thinks that Mimi is going to target Jag and Matt, or as Blue remembers, a Jag and Bowie. And so the four of them are talking. And America says, well, I think Felicia would target you two, Matt and Jag, or Jag, you and Matt. And Corey's like, no, I don't think she would. I think she'd probably target Cam. And this is little bit of a discrepancy in the information that Blue has passed along. And maybe this is what prompts it. Maybe Jag's just trying to do this in general, but Jag starts talking about like, okay, well, how do we make sure Felicia and Mimi don't target us? Corey is giving them more advice. This is what you should go and talk to them about. Better advice than last time, which was throw me under the bus. Jag says, I don't think we should be throwing each other under the bus. Like, you should definitely not be talking to Mimi and Felicia about how we're competition threats or anything. This is another point of contention from Jag and Matt about what they think Corey and America are doing, even though they're not really. Corey says, yes, of course. I would never say that. I don't think that we should be throwing each other under the bus. And so they have this conversation. And again, I think Jag's wheels start turning a little bit as well.
This is what I was going to say. Let them target each other. What is the purpose of the Mimi and Felicia alliance if you're trying to actually make it a 6-person alliance by telling Jag and Matt to go and do all of the, like, why are you doing that? Why can't you be in the center of a Venn diagram? Like, what is the purpose of this alliance then?
Yes, because they're getting in trouble because people think that that's what they're doing. And the reason people think that's what they're doing is because they're not doing it. Because if they were doing it, then they would be keeping the information to themselves and making sure that they were being careful about who they released information to. But because they're actually just on team Matt and Jag and telling Matt and Jag everything and Blue too much, they're getting sussed out for something they're not actually doing that they should be doing and just
And why
withholding that
aren't they?
information.
And why aren't they, Taran? Why aren't they? That's why I'm like, what is even the purpose of the Mimi Felicia alliance if you're not going to utilize it in the proper way?
Well, that's why they've been so lax on actually solidifying it, because they don't think they need it.
Boo.
Yeah. Um, so there's gonna be some sporadic Corey and America talks throughout the night. She's first talking with Jag and Mimi about her feelings, but she's later going to like more open up straight to Corey. And so we're gonna talk about that. Throughout the day, the Cam and America flirting has been you know, according to her, even more intense than normal. She, in particular, feels that after his conversation with Corey, where Corey was like, "It's fine, whatever," that basically gave Cam the green light to do more. There was a clip going around of Cam basically just grabbing America's hand and her pulling away and being like, stop, or at least her body language said that. I could not hear what they were saying, but it was certainly concerning looking. And this is what America has to say about it. Now, again, America absolutely has flirted with Cam. She has expressed that she enjoys flirting with Cam, but she has also expressed that he sometimes makes her feel uncomfortable. Those two things are coexisting in this world. Hopefully that's those two concepts are able to fit into people's brains. Um,
Mhm.
she talks to Corey about how she feels weird about Corey's conversation with Cam. She says he's flirting with me harder now, and I'm flirting back, and it doesn't make me feel good that you said you don't give a shit about that. And Corey's like, what do you mean? Like, haven't I been complaining about him flirting with you for like a month now? She says, I don't feel that way. And I feel upset about the fact that I don't feel that way. And he's like, okay, well, the last thing I want to do is be overly possessive, but maybe I've gone too far in that direction. Like, I don't want to police you and your behavior and who you flirt with. And she says, well, I feel like, we've been doing a lot of stuff, and the fact that you say you don't give a shit makes me feel used. And he's like, well, I do care. I care a lot. Like, I don't want to mess with your relationship with Cam or your game, and the game being involved adds an extra layer of complication. And they go back and forth like this, where he's still not giving her what she wants, and she's still doing this weird thing where she's trying to make him be more possessive, but not too much. And he's trying to like express that he cares while also not really expressing it in an emotional way, more in a word way, which is upsetting her because she wants to feel like he is actually caring. And he's like, I wish you could think I wish you could like be in my head to like think she should just say it then. And it's just so annoying to me.
Yeah, the whole thing is like literally I'm like my shoulders are raising to my ears. It's like so I think that a a big issue that I have with all of this is that like Corey said to Cameron like I don't care what you do with America. And Cameron's like, okay, then it's on if Corey doesn't care. And it's like America's not involved in that conversation at all about like what you know what I mean? Like she doesn't have any agency in that. And then like Cameron could come back into the game. And if he's flirting with her, it is a social game. And the whole thing is just really, really tough and so uncomfortable and awful.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I mean, I listen, I feel like I have to say this every time there's a
Mhm.
showmance. I'm starting to feel like does non like high school level relationships exist to like in this world? Like I don't understand how every relationship on Big Brother live feeds always is like this annoying to is that just like every relationship and we just don't know it as humans?
Okay. They're also in, like, the most stressful environment of their entire lives and, like, trying to play a social strategy game. Like, come on. Of course, there are some people who, like, we as a fandom can be like, Get out of here with this. This is foolish." But, like, there's so many the reason that we see also, like, these feelings of jealousy and whatever on the feeds often is because, like, that's what would happen in the game anyways, with, like, relationships feeling jealous of people's closeness, X, Y, and Z, if you weren't hooking up with them also.
Yeah, I mean, basically, after she leaves, he says to the cameras, "Can't I just play Big Brother? I need to have my relationship troubles broadcast."
Well,
Uh,
I mean, Corey, you coulda just played Big Brother, but then you got into a relationship. So I don't really have empathy for him there. Like, I know that you're like, "This is annoying. Why can't they just figure it out?" Like, for sure. But, like I said, when they got together and I was talking about people hooking up in the house, like, everybody makes choices. You know, like, you make a choice. Of course, you know, sometimes it seemed to me, in my opinion as the viewer, it seemed to me that the chemistry was undeniable and that they were doing themselves more harm than good by not becoming a showmance. But like we've talked about now, the big flaw in Corey's game is his inability to pivot. He came in knowing his role that he was going to play, wanting to play from the bottom in a very specific way. And then he came in here and got into a showmance and he was unable to pivot. Really, he still is unable to pivot into playing the game and making the showmance work for him in the context of Big Brother. The way that he is unable to pivot and make his positioning work for him in the context of Big Brother. And like I don't know. I just yes, Corey, you can just play Big Brother, but you also got into a relationship with somebody. So like that's where we are.
yeah,
I love you,
and
but
that's like like America's thing of like you're not like like essentially jealous enough of me flirting is like annoying, but also
mhm.
Corey's like I'm going to be in a relationship and tell her I care about her and be physical while also like not wanting to discuss anything because we're on camera. Like you can't have your
No.
cake and eat it too. Like you need to either jump in and like this is why they are feeding into each other in their
Yep.
insecurities and why they're
Yep.
having these kinds of issues. Um,
Mhm.
because they're both coming at it from different insecurities. And again, it's just
And that's why I
I'm
said,
watching.
like,
I'm like, can we just play Big Brother?
yeah, I was about to say, that's why you are, like, empathetic with Corey, and you're like, "Please, can we just play Big Brother?" But, like,
No, I'm
Corey
not.
is
I'm saying I'm frustrated with
no,
Corey.
no, no, but I know that's why you were like, "Yes, why can't we just play Big Brother?" But, like, the predicament that Corey's gotten himself into, like, it's more than that. It is, and he's gotta, like, they either, like you just said, like, they either gotta shit or get off the pot, and they gotta figure it out, and if you have decided, like, you're already making out all over the camera, you know what I mean? Like, it's on the show, you're in the DR talking about your showmance, like, just have a adult conversation with one another in the house for sure. But also within all of that is the context of the fact that this is a social game and like the layers on layers on layers. It's just very messy.
Yes, it is very messy, and we're gonna take a quick break from it before we come back to it later. Matt and Jag are going to talk for a little bit. They talk about Corey in America. Matt says that he does really think America wants to be with them. And Jag agrees. He says he thinks that the whole throwing them under the bus thing was not as big of a deal as Blue was making it out to be. Jag says that he talked to Corey about it. He told him to stop doing it, and Corey agreed. So he feels like that's fine. He feels like it's not as big of a deal as they thought. In the middle of this, Blue comes in and says, Jag, I've been meaning to talk to you all day. Corey has mentioned your name 3 times today, talking about you winning comps. And Jag's like, seriously? And gets him a little bit riled up all over again. And this is what I think Blue is doing well. She's literally like making mental tallies every time Corey says the word Jag. And she's like, ha, here we go. And she's trying to stay on top of Jag and Matt to make sure that they stay anti-Corey in America. And they are wavering a little bit back and forth. So we'll see ultimately where this falls. Still a lot of damage has been done, but it's still unclear as to whether or not Matt and Jag would actually take the shot if they won versus doing something a little safer.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll just, I guess, have to wait and see. And I'm interested to see where it goes from here. And this, I do have to give Blue props for this. I don't really want to, but she is doing really good work here. And you know what? This is something that I do think that, like, Big Brother players sometimes, because you don't want to feel like you're holding a grudge. Like, holding a grudge and holding on to anger and resentment over something that happened, you know, a week or two ago in the game, like, that doesn't feel good, you know? So I think that a lot of people often try to work it out, whatever. But like Blue, I do think she's being very she's gonna hold the grudge against Corey for putting her on the block in the way that he did. You know, she's taking it and running with it, and that's really good for her game.
Yeah. Corey in America, we come back to them. She comes back to the bed, and they're trying to talk with their mics off about their relationship. They keep getting yelled at. So they're like, fine. And they put the mics on and they come into America. And I think Big Brother quickly was like, we made a mistake because America starts talking about the stuff that they keep trying to cut. She
Mhm.
says, it was making me uncomfortable what Cam was doing.
Mhm.
And sometimes it just feels like it comes out of nowhere. She says, some of the stuff he told me during lockdown was weird. It was like flirty. Corey says aggressive. She's like, yeah, like, nah, it's like just a very like level 1 flirty. I don't know what that means, but he was like, oh, I'll show you this. And she said it made her uncomfortable. Um, and so Corey's like, I just don't get, well, like, what does he think about me in this whole thing? And she says, well, I've been telling Cam that we're just going to be friends after this because that's what you said, right? And so I think he just thinks we're friends and you're getting played by this older woman. And Corey's like, I mean, that's a weird leap to make, though. No?
But that is definitely what he thinks.
Yes.
Like 1000% that's what he thinks.
Um, and so again, this is what she's saying. just first of all, disregarding everything about America, again, as I said before, this is something that people in the House noticed before America said anything. People in the House thought he was being weird and creepy with Riley. People in
Mhm.
the House continue to think he's being weird and creepy with America. She started saying something, people started noticing it even more. Felicia, even just today, is saying, I think that Cam will want Corey gone so he gets America to himself in the
Mhm.
jury. They've talked about how they've made jokes about how if one of them goes missing, look for Cam. We got to take the knives out of the house. This is something that people are noticing and talking about. And you know, like I don't understand what the point people are trying to make when they send me clips of America flirting with Cam.
Yeah.
Like and I literally just now in the chat, somebody was like, she asks for it though. Um, as though that's not a thoroughly debunked concept. Like,
It's really just people showing their misogyny. And, like I was trying to point out earlier in that conversation, like America is completely removed from the conversation that caused Cameron to be like, "Oh, it's on then. I can do now. I can go much higher with my flirting with America and I can be much more aggressive in my approach." These are the way that she feels, that he is being aggressive in his approach. And like, because Corey was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't care what you do." And it's like the idea of, in order for a guy, it's the same sort of concept of like, you're a girl at a bar and a guy won't leave you alone until you say, "No, I have a boyfriend." And then they're like, "Oh, okay." It's the exact same. I feel like it's a transferable concept here, that he's like, when he finds out, like, "Oh, wait, Corey and America aren't boyfriend and girlfriend," that means that like I can do what I want now with the way that I'm flirting with America. And she is in a social game. And like you have said before, America flirts with everybody. That's part of her social strategy. That's the way that she interacts with people. And that doesn't mean that she can't be frustrated and really uncomfortable with the way that he is approaching her and grabbing her hand and trying to touch her. Like, no.
yes, and this conversation gets cut. They cut away to other stuff while they continue to talk about Cam, which is a very regular thing that is happening and has happened many times before. And you know, certainly aids in the perception that that she is like not trying to, or that she doesn't feel uncomfortable, despite the fact that she has said multiple times now that she does sometimes, and sometimes she doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is that is very much a thing that can happen. If you try to police what women are allowed to say about how men
Yep.
make them feel, then you lead toward a culture where women feel like they can't speak out about these things at
Yep.
all because they get scrutinized to death about their behavior if the second they call out a man's behavior. And it's okay for like, listen, you know, she can be like, listen, Cam, it was too much. People can be like, Cam, you were kind of creepy. And Cam could be like, oh my God, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. And you know what? The culture we live in, he'll be fine. Like people
Mm-hmm.
are like, oh, Cam, he has a daughter. How could you say these things about him?
I can't. No. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. Like, everybody has a mother. Like, give me a break. Yeah, give me a break.
Um, So listen, again, this has nothing to do with America either. This is everything to do with Cam, regardless of what America says or feels or whatever. This has been a thing before the America stuff
Yes.
even was a thing.
Yes,
Um,
this is a pattern of behavior. Okay, from him. This is a pattern of behavior from him. And that's something that I do think that some of these people who are in the chat making comments and some of the people who are watching this need to remember that this is not an isolated thing with America. We watched him do this with Riley beforehand too.
yeah. So we will keep moving forward here. We're gonna come back to Corey in America in a little bit, but by then they're talking game because they don't want to show those conversations on the feeds. Um, Blue is going to talk to Mimi, and she's going to make a big play here. Big play. She says that she really wants them to work together, Blue and Mimi. Blue to Mimi. And Mimi says, I agree. I think, the women should not be trying to make things harder for one another in this house right now. You know, I am a girl's girl. And they go on to talk about the last couple of weeks. This is an extremely long conversation. Blue says that her assumption this week has been that Mimi and Corey are very close. She says, the reason I think that I have many reasons, but the biggest reasons were that she heard that Corey was really upset uh, at, um, at Mimi for picking him in the competition. Uh, and she's also heard that Corey has said that Mimi really trusts him. And Mimi goes, oh, yeah, of course I trust him. And Blue says, the way I see it, Corey is using and manipulating everyone to do their dirty work, him in America. He used Matt to win that veto to take out Jared. He didn't even get out of that ball pit. Matt was all bruised and battered up. He used Matt. And Mimi's like, yes, I agree. She's like, and she goes on. She's like, yeah, I mean, I've been telling people to watch out for Corey since day one. This guy is smart. And if they ignore me, they're gonna watch him make it to the end, and they're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, oh, you were right. And think about all the people who've left. And Blue's like, yes, that's what I've been saying. The people that have left, they were all anti-America and Corey. And she starts getting really happy, and she's like, and America is not a girl's girl. She's not a girl's girl. I've been saying it for a minute. And Mimi's like, yeah, no, yeah, I agree. Yeah, she's definitely not a girl's girl. Now, we know that Mimi doesn't actually agree with this. So Mimi is definitely, to some extent, placating in this conversation, which Mimi does. And Mimi always keeps her cards close to her chest in terms of how she actually feels. But the conversation continues. Like I said, it's a very long one, and Mimi does eventually learn even more damning information about Corey in America. Blue tells her that she thinks Corey and America are going to throw the competition. And then she says, between you and America's target is Felicia, with you up next to her as the pawn. And just so you know, I've been saying the same thing to her, but that's a lie. I'm lying to her. Trust me, girl, you're not my target, but you are theirs. And Mimi says, well, that doesn't surprise me. I've never trusted them. And Blue says, the narrative that Corey and America are pushing on Matt and Jag is that you are targeting Matt and Jag. And this is the key piece of information that, again, America should never have said to Blue. That is the most damning of all of this, because Mimi does want to target Matt and Jag. Mimi has not said that to Corey in America, but the fact that apparently Corey in America are telling Matt and Jag that she is going after Matt and Jag is extremely concerning to her. And once again, this is where you get the emotional reaction from Mimi that we haven't really gotten so far. Wow, people are just lying, huh? And they start talking about, like, how do we fix this? How do we convince Matt and Jag that you're not coming for them, Mimi? And they talk about that for a while. They talk about what they're going to say they talked about and all this kind of stuff. Who should she pretend she's going after instead? But it's definitely a big conversation, a big jump, big leap for Blue. Could definitely backfire, but she did land a couple of blows here with Mimi, and we will have to wait and see where Mimi ends up falling. It still doesn't make sense for her to target Corey or America. I think she's the kind of player that wouldn't just go after them, but I doubt that she feels like if there was any inclination toward working with them in like an actual sense, I think that's probably been dashed at this point.
Definitely. And Mimi understands that the most important thing for her to do is go after Matt and Jack because they have the ability to win. And that's the thing that always, like, at this point in the game, I'm always we spend a lot of time yelling at the players through the computer screen, like, get out the people who are going to win these competitions, like, because it becomes a runaway train. And Mimi is very smart. She knows talk less, smile more. That's what she did in the conversation with Blue. She got a lot of information. We'll see what she does with it. But yeah, I don't think though she's never really wanted to work with Corey this whole time. You know, from the very first week when Corey was spilling his whole game to her and he would leave the room and she would roll her eyes. Like, she's never been inclined to work with Corey. Right now, it's good for her, but that doesn't mean that it will stay good for her and she's going to go all the way to the end with him.
Yeah. And my guess for how this could go, at least, is that Mimi could definitely say this to Felicia.
Yeah.
And if Felicia knows, good chance she goes and confronts Corey about it. So this could definitely leak out very, very easily.
Uh-huh.
But it really, I think, depends on whether Mimi decides to tell Felicia about it. So we'll see. Um, Corey and America continue to talk after the feeds come back. They're done talking about Cameron. They're now talking about game. He tells America his plan right now is to put up the two people that were just talking, Mimi and Blue, with the idea, the plan would be he's going to backdoor Cam, but he's not actually going to backdoor Cam. He actually wants Blue gone. And America says, yeah, she doesn't trust me. And Corey says, I think that this is the good play because she's a really good option for Matt and Jag, and she doesn't trust us. Kind of like how we have both.
Oh, what a sad, sad story.
Now, targeting Blue is not a bad option for them at all. However, they do have other fish to fry. I wouldn't necessarily say bigger, but maybe more threatening fish to fry. And
Mm-hmm.
certainly putting Mimi on the block is extremely risky, both in terms of where the vote could go and in
And
terms of just like further pissing her off.
I'm sorry, like, I don't say this about him specifically. I say this about the whole house. Like, are we forgetting that Cameron has like, is really good at these competitions? Like, so good at these competitions. Yeah, I mean, apparently, you know, Corey's like, well, all the Endgame competitions are mental and, you know, all of that. Like, but Cameron is really good at these competitions. That's why we had to put the whole house basically had to put a full action plan in place in order to get Cameron out. Like, why are we just assuming we the proverbial we as the house assuming he's going to get back in the game and then not even talking about targeting him?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, something that Felicia talks about during the day. She kind of like comes through this. She's like, me and Riley are the only women to have won competitions this season, which
Excuse
is
me.
true. We've been talking about it. I've been trying to talk about it. 16 competitions have been played. Two of them won by women this season. And actually, it's kind of a little bit of a milestone. In the first few seasons, from season 2 to season 8, the percentage of competitions that women won, 52%, basically exactly where you want it to be. For the last 5 years, from Big Brother 21 to now, that percentage has been cut exactly in half to 26% of
That is
competitions have
so
been won by women.
sad. That is
Yeah.
so sad, and that's something really that Big Brother producers, please take a look at that. Please, please, please. Because it's not an equal, like, this is Big Brother, this isn't the challenge. Like, we want there to be able to be power swings. We want everybody who's in the game to enter on an even playing field and, like, be able to win. And, you know, of course, there are outside factors that are always going to come into play in that, in terms of people's different skill sets and XYZ. But, like, that is a really sad statistic, and we need to change that, Big Brother production.
Yeah, and it's been a steady decline in terms of that percentage over the years. The seasons in between are basically somewhere in the 33 to 36% range for women. And I don't think coincidentally, in those first few seasons from roughly season 2 to season 7, the percentage of women who won the game, roughly 50%. in the seasons between season 8 and season 20, the percentage of women that won, roughly 33%. In this from Big Brother 21 to now,
Mhm.
25%. Almost exactly following the percentage of women that win competitions is also follows the percentage of women that have won the game. And so it's a significant problem. And it just continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So um uh so that's there's more. So I mean, look into the statistics because they're kind of wild. But yes, Cameron is certainly a threat here, as are Matt and Jag, and I think that Felicia and Mimi recognize that, despite what else is happening here. But we'll see. Um, Jag, Corey, Matt, and America do hang out at night, mostly while Blue and Mimi are talking. And they're making food and they're joking around and they're laughing and they're making alliance names and they're doing their late night hangout fun thing. And
Mhm.
it's bonding.
Yeah.
Again, like, they haven't really done this in a few days, and I think the lack of it was certainly hurting them a lot. This can't hurt. It's, I think, probably going to help a little bit here, but, who knows how much, it actually has repaired. This basically is a battle right now between Corey and America and Blue for what Jag and Matt are going to do if they win the HOH, especially because they are very likely to potentially win that HOH. So, every little bit matters here, and so it's worth pointing out that they did hang out for quite a while, and they were having a grand old time.
Yes. It's just like
Um,
never ever do we get on here and talk about like, and they were hanging out and having fun and it was important. Like, I feel like we never do that.
Corey and America are gonna finish their conversations with some "I really, really like yous." And they're back stronger than ever. They've had a little bit of a talk. They've sort of solidified how they feel about each other, so on and so forth. Um, Blue, Matt, and Jag are going to talk late into the night. They tell Blue, hey, we've talked to Bowie about Corey in America. She's down. She's with us. Blue says, I feel like I can get Mimi on board too. I think we can talk to Mimi. Matt and Jag say, I don't know about that. She's really close to Felicia, and we don't trust Felicia, which is a good instinct. And they think maybe we should feel it out. We should maybe like have some conversations with Mimi tomorrow and see how things are going. And Blue's like, we're doing well, guys. Like, we got this.
Yeah. And they're bonding and hanging out and having fun.
Less so, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just teasing.
So that's kind of where things stand at this time. The war again between Blue and Corey in America for Matt and Jag is still full blown. A lot of damage has been done regardless, though, and it's really just a matter of like, can Corey in America survive next week? If so, they'll probably have time to sort of maybe recover from this, but
Mhm.
they don't exactly, play well all the time. So, we'll see.
I feel like also the past couple of weeks, it's been like, wow, I can't believe Corey and America were able to squeak through not getting targeted this week. And it
It's
does
been
feel
very
like
up and
they're,
down.
yeah, it feels like they're running out of runway here.
Yeah. So we will see what happens there. This absolutely could, Matthew in the chat asking, could this blow back on Blue? Absolutely. As I mentioned, I think the main piece that could, I think, is this Mimi play. Uh, I don't think Mimi would talk to other people about this, but if Mimi tells Felicia, like, hey, just so you know, we need to be careful with Corey in America because apparently they're saying blah blah blah. I do think that Felicia has she said she has instituted a new policy that if she hears something about somebody, she's going to go and ask them about it. So if she then goes and asks Corey in America about it, this could really blow back on Blue. Not that it's going to do that much to Blue because Corey's already targeting her, But it could help Corey win the battle for Matt and Jag if he's able to expose Blue, or at least know that Blue is coming after him. Because right now it's a very one-sided war because Corey doesn't realize what Blue is doing. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But in the meantime, we are still just waiting for the zombie to come back in and for the next HOH to be played, and then we will really know what is going to happen and if any of this is even relevant. Because for all we know, like Cirie is
Yeah.
going to win the HOH.
Yeah, exactly. Or America wins you know what I mean? Like, I just am I can't even believe that we've had a full week and of you doing hour-long podcasts when there's no HOH and no one who's not been evicted before is leaving. Like, it's totally wild. Totally wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I think that that's it for today.
All right. Well, that is what we have for you today then. Thank you all so much for joining us. I will be live tonight on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, watching the Survivor premiere. Very exciting. So make sure you come and join me for that. It'll be a good time. We'll run predictions. We'll have all the same fun stuff we do during Big Brother episodes. And then tomorrow I'll be back 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. And tomorrow night, the game starts back up again with the HOH and the zombie and all of that stuff. So tune in for all of that. Find me on Instagram for climbing stuff and Twitter for Twitter stuff. Maggie, what do you got going on?
Yeah, so I am on Threads, Instagram, TikTok at ML Morgan_. You can find me there. And I will be at RHAP Live next week in New York City. So hopefully, if you haven't gotten your tickets to that yet, I know that Rob said that they opened up a couple of more, they opened up a couple more sections for at a discounted rate. And also, I will be at the Bryson Wen event the night before on Tuesday. So hope to see everybody there. Come say hi. It's going to be a really fun time.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.